Hello everybody. Today we are going to start with chapter 5 of class 12th political science, that is United Nations and its organizations. According to the new syllabus, there are a lot of changes in this chapter. So I'll be explaining the chapter according to the new content only. Well, in this chapter also I have made division into 4 parts, and today through this video I'll be explaining you part 1, which will include the evolution of United Nations and 3 organs of United Nations. So dear students, let us start with the explanation. We'll begin with the evolution of the United Nations, means how the United Nations evolved, how it developed. Now, the First World War, it took place in 1914 till 1919. Now, after the war, the countries, they decided to make an organization that can deal with conflicts and fights among the nations. An organization that can take care that the world prevails in peace and there is no fights or wars among the nations. So, for this purpose, the League of Nations was born to avoid the war between the countries. Now, initially, this League of War, it got success, but it could not help in preventing the Second World War. It tried to prevent, but anyhow, the Second World War again occurred from 1939 till 1945. Now, this war, it resulted in lot of devastation and death of millions of people across the continents, across the globes. Europe, it was nearly destroyed. If we talk of these Asian countries, many of them, they were with US or they were on the side of German, but most of the countries, they were underdeveloped at that time, and they were the colonized countries. So these countries, many of them, they did not took part in war, so they were out of it, but they were least developed countries. Okay, now this I told you, this League of Nations, it got success initially, but anyhow it was a failure because this organization was formed so that no war can take place between the countries, but Second World War occurred. Okay, now after this Second World War came to an end, the countries again decided that they should have even stronger international organization to avoid such devastation, such loss of life and property. So, in that context, United Nations was born in 1945, and it is also known as a successor to the League of Nations. Means first League of Nations was there. If it was not successful, then a new organization came up, that was the United Nations. Now, if we talk of the founding members of the United Nations, this United Nations Charter, that is a declaration, it was signed by 51 countries. Originally 50 countries were there. Then Portugal also joined it after few days. So it became 51 countries which signed the Charter of United Nations, and they became the original founding members of the United Nations. So UN was founded on 24th of October 1945. So every year we celebrate 24th October as the United Nations Day. Now this UN, it was founded on 24th October 1945. But when did India join United Nations? As you know, India is also the member of United Nations. So India joined UN on 30th of October 1945. That is 6 days after its establishment, India joined UN. Now this name United Nations, who gave this name? Everybody decided we have to make an organization. But what is the name of the organization and who has given this name? That was given by the US President Franklin Roosevelt. He has coined this name. He has made this name United Nations. Okay. Next we coming to the objectives. The objective of United Nations is to prevent international conflicts, that is the wars going on between the countries, the clashes going on between the countries, the fights going on between the countries. So this is the main objective, that to prevent such conflicts, such wars, and to facilitate, that is to increase cooperation among the nation states. All those states which are the members of United Nations, they should have good cooperation among themselves in all the fields. And if in any case the war still broke out, that is UN tried but still there has been war between the two nations, then the organization would try to limit the extent of hostilities, which means that UN will try that destruction and damage of property and loss of life should not go beyond certain extent. It should be limited. Okay. Now, talking of the present members of United Nations, by January 2017, the United Nations organization had 193 independent member states. You know, we have 195 total countries in the world. Out of those 195 countries, we have 193 countries which are the members of United Nations, and two countries which are not the member, they are the observer countries of United Nations. Observer countries means the rules and the decisions of the United Nations are not binding upon those two countries. UN cannot force those rules on those two countries, but those two countries, they can attend the meetings of United Nations and they can be the part of the United Nations. Okay. Now next, who takes care of this complete such a big organization? The United Nations most visible figure and representative head is Secretary General. The present Secretary General of the United Nations is Antonio Guterres. He is from Portugal and he is on this post since 1st January 2017. Now this Secretary General, that is Antonio Guterres, he is responsible for the overall administration of the United Nations. And if we come by count, he is the 9th Secretary General of the United Nations. Well, you know, this United Nation, it is such a huge organization, so it consists of many different structures and many different agencies which are working under it. So we will discuss different organs and agencies of the United Nations in detail. First of all, let us talk of the organs of United Nations. There are 6 organs of United Nations, which are the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, the Secretariat, the Trusteeship Council. Now we will be doing each of these organs in detail in this first part of your explanation. Let us begin with the General Assembly. In General Assembly, all the members of United Nations are its members. That is, we have 193 members of United Nations and all these members, they are the part of General Assembly. Second is, every state is entitled to one vote only during the voting process, which is done for the purpose of taking any decision. It also means that all members have equal representation. Now, whenever the General Assembly session goes on, every country which is a member state, they send their representatives to General Assembly. But each country, whether they send one person or two persons, each state or country will have one vote only. Fine. So whenever any discussion take place and after that voting is required, so every country will cast their one vote either in favor or against. That means this General Assembly, it is a representative body, which means that all the members, they have been given one vote. All member means all the member representing their country. Third one, The General Assembly meets annually under its President or Secretary General at the headquarters of United Nations in New York City in the month of September or October. Now this General Assembly, they have their one meeting in a year, and that meeting takes place either in the month of September or October, and the meeting is headed by President or Secretary General. It is headed in United this states, that is in New York City. But if in case there is some emergency in the world, the special meeting can also be called upon by the General Assembly. Means one meeting is fixed in a year, but apart from that, in case of emergency, another meeting can also be called upon. The headquarters of General Assembly are in New York in United States. Fourth one, the meeting deals with all problems concerning world peace, security, human rights, and they also try to find a solution to these problems. Now, this meeting, which they have in September or October every year, what they discuss in this meeting? This meeting deals with all kind of problems which the country is facing, especially regarding the world peace, their security, human rights violation, and in this meeting only they try to find the solution also to their problems. The second task of this meeting is to draw the attention of Security Council. This Security Council is the second organ towards problems which can be a threat to world peace. Now this Security Council, it is the main executive organ of the United Nations. So whatever problems are there in the world regarding peace, the Security Council attention is drawn towards those problems. The next one, General Assembly also has right to elect 10 non-permanent members of Security Council, 54 members of the Economic and Social Council, and Secretary General of United Nations on the recommendation of the Security Council. Now these are the certain appointments which are made by General Assembly during their meeting. They choose 10 non-permanent members of Security Council, means second organ. Then 54 members of Economic and Social Council, that is third organ. From third organ they choose 54 members, and above all the Secretary General, who is the overall administrator on the recommendation of Security Council. Now the last one, the General Assembly also passes budget of United Nations after having deliberated upon it. Deliberated means after having debated upon it. Now how much money this United Nation is getting from different countries and where that money has to be spent upon. So all this deliberation, all these debates and discussions, they take place in General Assembly, and then after voting, this General Assembly passes the budget. It decides how much money each member state should pay, that what is the expense and what is the revenue. So after this they will decide that which country will pay how much money. It also receives reports from other parts of UN, other organs of UN or other agencies of UN. All of them, they give reports to the Secretary General, who in turn submit the report in the General Assembly in front of all the member states and their representatives. Now let us start with our second organ, that is the Security Council. The second organ, the Security Council of United Nations. Now this is the most important organ of the United Nations, as it is also called its executive organ, that is the organ which implements the rules and policies of the United Nations. Now, well, regarding this Security Council, it has 5 permanent members, that is USA, Britain, France, Russia and China. These are called permanent members because these members were the most powerful after World War II, and because they were also constituted as the victors in the war. They won the war. That is why they became the permanent members of the United Nations, as these were the powerful countries after Second World War. Now apart from these 5, there are 10 other non-permanent members also who are elected for the period of 2 years by General Assembly on the basis of area. That is 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. These non-permanent members are chosen from other member countries and they are elected for the period of 2 years only. General Assembly only chooses these 10 non-permanent members according to area, according to different continents. So the total membership of Security Council is 15 members. The member states that have completed its period of 2 years cannot be immediately elected again. Now, all those countries who have just completed their 2 years of non-permanent membership, they cannot be elected again in the next year only. They can apply in further years. Now, if we talk of India, India has been its member 6 times till now. India became non-permanent members around 6 times till now. Then, to resolve, what is the main function of this Security Council, why this organ is formed? Its main function is to resolve international disputes between different countries, to take care that wars doesn't take place between different countries, and to maintain peace and order between the countries. It power also include establishment of peacekeeping operations, means operation, for example, the countries got involved in war and in that country the UN had to send its forces. So from where the forces will come, that it is a duty of Security Council to make those peacekeeping forces and to carry on the operations. So its powers also include establishment of peacekeeping operations, international military actions to resolutions. For example, it can ask the conflicting countries, two countries who are in war with each other, it can ask those countries to resolve the conflict by peaceful means, like negotiation or inquiry and mediation, means by any means, by talking or by anything, just resolve the conflict between the two nations. But if in case there is a failure in those peaceful means two country did not came on the peaceful terms and they still kept on fighting, then Security Council can use armed forces or they can use the coercive efforts, that is the forceful methods. For example, we have done in chapter 2, in 1991 Security Council took an action against Iraq, Saddam Hussein, with a view to liberate Kuwait, with a view to give freedom to Kuwait. So this is how Security Council work. It takes care that there is peace maintained throughout the world, and if the countries they get involved in war, they try to tell them to avoid the war, and if still by peaceful mean they doesn't avoid the war, then United Nations Security Council has to interfere in those countries with the help of armed forces. Next one, the admission of new states to the organization and their expulsion can only be done on the recommendation of Security Council. Means this is the only organ which can decide or which can give recommendations that how the new states are to be admitted and how the existing state are to be expelled from the United Nations. It is the only body of United Nations to issue binding resolution to its member states. Means whatever decisions are taken by these 5 permanent members or 10 non-permanent members by their voting process, those decisions are binding upon other member states. That means they have to follow those decisions. Last one, the permanent members of Security Council enjoy the power of veto, the very important power, veto power. It is a special power of 5 permanent members. This power is only given to 5 members, not to 15 members. Only 5 permanent members have this power, by which they can change the decision of the Security Council. Now, how they can change the decision of Security Council? Let us see. To take any decision on important issue, 9 votes including 5 permanent members of Security Council are required. But if any permanent member of the Security Council casts its vote against the resolution, the decision cannot be taken. This practice is called veto power. Now I'll explain you this in simple terms. For example, Security Council has to take any decision. They will go into the process of voting. Now in that voting process, if 9 people out of 15 people they say yes, then the decision will be implemented. And out of those 9 votes, 5 votes should be of Security Council. If any should be of permanent members, sorry. If any one permanent member casts its vote against it, means if any one permanent member said no, then the decision will come to an halt and it cannot be implemented in any case. So this is the power of veto. That means only the permanent members, on their decision it depends whether the things will be implemented or not. And even only one permanent member, if he say no, that means the complete voting will come to an end. Okay. Now I hope you are clear with the Security Council, this second organ, and how powerful it is, because they have the veto power in their hand. Only the permanent members, they have the veto power in their hand. Okay. Now let us start with our third organ, that is the Economic and Social Council. Now it is also called ECOSOC. In short form, we can call it as ECOSOC also. There are 54 members in this council based on geographical representation. Now I told you when I was doing General Assembly that 54 members of this Economic and Social Council, they are elected by General Assembly for the period of overlapping period of 3 years. What is overlapping period of 3 years? It means that only 1/3 members, they are elected every year, and 1/3 members get retired every year. Means 1/3 members get retired and new 1/3 members are added to this Economic and Social Council. All the members do not get retired at the same time. 1/3 gets out of this council and 1/3 are added in this council every year. A state which has completed the period of its membership for 3 years can be elected again also. Now in Security Council we did that non-permanent members, they cannot be elected again in the same coming next year. But in Economic and Social Council, the member, if they have completed their 3 years of membership, they can be elected again in the next term only. But in Security Council, they cannot be elected in the next term. Otherwise, in future, they can apply again. Now coming to the objective of Economic and Social Council, the main task of this council is to discuss economic, social, cultural and educational matters, and they also plan international conferences for them. That means they discuss all these matters, economic, social, cultural, educational matter throughout the world. Whatever problems are there, they discuss these matters, and then they plan their international conference. They plan the remedies also, they plan the meetings also, where different member states, they can come, they can attend the meeting, and they try to find the solution to their problems. Then it is also responsible for promoting higher standard of living for people throughout the world. They should raise their standard of living. There should be full employment in the world. The people should get jobs and they should be able to earn money. Then economic and social progress should be there, and they try to identify solution to international economic, social and health problems. Whatever problems are going on, whether related to health, just like nowadays coronavirus problem is going on, this problem also comes under this Economic and Social Council. Then social problem, economic problem, whatever problems are going on in the world, they try to identify those problems and try to sort out those problems. Now this agency, this council, it work with the help of number of specialized agencies to achieve their goal, like UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. then UNESCO is there, UNICEF is there, ILO, International Labour Organization, WHO, World Health Organization, which specially is taking care of the coronavirus and its spread and all. So this council, it take the help of number of agencies are working under this council, and then they are trying to achieve their objectives, because this contains so many things under one council. So it is the most complex and the largest unit of the United Nations, because maximum agencies also work under this economic and social council. Number of membership is also more over here, and they try to find the solution to lot many problems which cover social, economic, then educational, then health. So many issues are covered under one system only. That is why it is the largest and the complex unit of the United Nations. Well students, till now we have done the evolution of the United Nations, and out of 6 organs of the United Nations we have discussed 3 organs in detail. The rest of the 3 organs we'll be doing in our next video. Till then, watch these topics very carefully. Thank you so much.